Welcome back. So there are growing calls for harsh actions against those responsible for impregnating underage girls. In the Northwest, a 35-year-old man is still at large after he allegedly fathered a child with a minor. The 16-year-old girl gave birth to her second-born on New Year's Day in Vryburg. Now, for more on this harrowing story, I'm joined by Tshegofatso Mothibedi, who is the Northwest Health Department spokesperson. Tshegofatso, a good evening to you. Thank you for your time. I know that you're on the road and you've had quite a busy day, but I want to start off with this 16-year-old, how the department was able to come across this case, and certainly at what point you then realized that the 16-year-old was also giving birth to their second child.
Well, in fact, Naledi, thank you so much for inviting me, and good evening to your listeners and your viewers. In fact, we are investigating how this case, we missed as a department, particularly some of our officials who were supposed to ensure that we deal with the perpetrators of this crime on the first pregnancy of this child. You can imagine how old she was. She was about 14 years old. So investigations, we are casting our net wider than we expected, because we also want to see the role of officials in this instance, but also to correct it so that it does not happen again, particularly in the Dr. RSM, where we know that it is predominantly rural, and it is our fiduciary duty as a department to ensure that we protect these children when they come to our institutions, and we make sure that we take stringent measures to deal with those who are preying on our little girls.
Just the details around these two pregnancies. I mean, 14 and 16, and 16 already a mother to two. Just what we know about each of these pregnancies, and certainly the fathers involved.
Well, as is, Naledi, the investigations are continuing. They are already afoot. We have established that the second pregnancy is a result of a 35-year-old who is now AWOL. But we are still investigating, because we are entirely relying on this minor to tell us who they suspect is the father of the children of both the first and the second. But information is not as forthcoming as we had expected. But as you know, we are working on this with our sister Department of Social Development, where we continue to do such interviews so that we are able to do so. But we are calling on our leaders of society, the clergy and those community members, to also assist us, particularly the family members who are really the first respondent in this matter, who should be taking the responsibility. But we are working with them to ensure that we find solution, we find information, so that our law enforcement agencies can come in and deal with some of these perpetrators.
Sure. There's a lot to talk about. A 14-year-old, then 16-year-old. I'm just imagining the body of this little, this young girl. I mean, talk to me about the state of her health, and certainly that of the children.
It's harrowing, lady, to say the least, because although we can confirm that the 16-year-old is still stable, in good condition, mainly because of the work that has been done, selling work that has been done by our healthcare professionals, our nurses in the Dr. RSM region. But we are monitoring her. We have sent a dispatched team of our healthcare professionals so that they also monitor, because remember this case, even the premier went there to also see for himself what really is happening. But the socio-economic challenges in that area, it's another problem, because it is not only happening there. We have had cases before in places like Marezani, in places like Tshegofatso, where we know that socio-economic challenges remain a concern to us. And it's some of the challenges that lead to where we are now. So we are working really hard as the provincial government, particularly the health department, with our sister department, social development. So we unravel what could be the main problem in some of these far-flung rural areas, where we know some of our children become, targeted by some of these men who are then luring them somewhere with whatever that their means, so that they're able to attack, to prey on our children. So we are working very hard. The Premier has given us clear directives that this matter should be resolved expeditiously, and that is what is happening now in the Northwest Province.
How many arrests have we made in some of the cases in the past? And I know your Department of Health, and perhaps you may not have that data, but the collaboration between police and yourselves, incredibly important, I think, in this matter. How successful does government become when it comes to finding the perpetrators in these matters?
We may not directly have the statistics, but I remember very well in 2016 when the former Minister of Social Development, Tshegofatso, was there. We have confirmed over 2,000 underage girls cases who were impregnated by older men. At that time, a team was established to investigate that, particularly led by the Social Development. Several arrests were made in places like Maretsane, where there was a problem. We also went to places like, what's the name? In Ditsobota, where we've had some problems, particularly in Sitlayah. I'm looking for the word, Sitlakole village, where there was a problem in terms of underage girls. But we realized that the socio-economic challenges play a huge, huge role in that instance. But also the substance abuse and alcohol abuse also lead to this. So we are making some strides as the provincial government to deal with some of the problems that we are facing, particularly in areas that are not really in the eye of authorities. It's really, really deep, far-flung rural areas where these matters are now raising their ugly head. But we are working very hard as a department so that every time when these cases are coming to our health facilities, we are then able to pick them up, call law enforcement agencies, and we'll deal with them right on the spot. So we are concerned as a department when some of these cases are then coming to us, but seemingly we are not reporting them or we are failing to do so. So what we have done as a clear directive from MEC Silolahari is to ensure that every manager within the department does report. In fact, even today we've received some statistics to say what has been done over the years, what has been done over the months to ensure that we deal with this matter decisively with the same vigor it deserves as we see it in our society.
And just one last question on this particular matter, because I believe that this, and this is according to the Premier's office in the Northwest, that this young girl in their second pregnancy at 16 years old did not receive prenatal care. So, you know, obviously, and we've talked about the impact on her health. But then there's the fact that she dropped out of primary school during that first pregnancy when she was 14 years old. So, I mean, the sort of assistance that's necessary for her mental health and also for this girl to be able to at some point get some sort of education. But there's the fact that, you know, why are we only catching these cases after the child is born?
It's a multifaceted problem that we are facing. That is why we're saying we have reinforced our teams, particularly our collaboration with other departments, your social development and your community safety and transport in the Northwest Province. Where we know that law enforcement agencies must be have a clear coordinated plan to deal with some of these instances. For instance, if a child comes to our clinic or even hospital pregnant and we understand that they are underage, we must already have a police on standby so that we are able to see who are these. Even before the child is born, we must have law enforcement agencies on standby so that they deal with this matter. They go thorough with the fine-tooth comb. They investigate who is behind so that we're able to deal with this matter decisively. So the directive from the Premier and MEC Silolahari are very clear. Find them, arrest them, and put them away from the society because they really are a danger to our children. Okay,
now I'm going to just move on to other issues now because we were covering this just moments ago. The Health Minister expected to head to the Northwest where 3 hospitals were flooded. I mean, what's the update there? Talk to us about which 3 and how you have 3 hospitals flooding at the same time, reasons behind it.
Yeah, it may not necessarily be the same time. I just came, in fact, I'm right outside the Moses Kotane Hospital, just near Sun City. In the morning, we were in a place called Lichtenberg in Ditsobota, that is in Delare Hospital. There is a problem because the water system from the municipality. In fact, we had an intense engagement with the mayor of the municipality. The engagements were led by our MEC Silolahari, where we wanted to find a way to say the water system there, it's not working, it's not functional, and it now overwhelms our drainage system, our drain system in the hospitals. So we have a problem in as far as the working relationship between ourselves and local councils. But we have appointed a contractor at the Vryburg Hospital, although we have transferred all the 33 patients to the local nearby hospitals, we have managed to assess the damage. So the contractor will start tomorrow to ensure that they deal with all the damages and they build some nets so that we redirect water that is coming straight from the town to our hospital. So that is a matter that we are dealing with now. But that is only a short-term solution. A long-term solution should be us sitting on the table with the municipality, and they do their work, we do our work, so that we are able to offer services unhindered in that municipality.
Yeah, I'm just, if you will, please, you mentioned 2 hospitals. What the other one is where this is an issue. We, of course, did hear from the mayor, Tshegofatso, who says the reason behind the flooding at the Delare Hospital is as a result of blocked drains.
Yes, it's what we have sent a team of our experts there from our maintenance department, and they are working hand in hand with the municipality to find a lasting solution. The blocked drain is from the municipality. In fact, it's called water system from the municipality. The drain is from our side, which is not blocked. The system, the water system or the water storm, that is the one that is blocked from the municipality. Ours is not blocked. It's overwhelmed because the amount of water that is coming to our hospital is just too much. So what we are saying is that we have to find a way to ensure that we work hand in hand with the municipality. From tomorrow, 8 o'clock, our team will be meeting the municipality team to ensure that they find a lasting solution. In Zeras, there was the same problem. What we have done, we've spoken to all those that are involved, particularly the municipality. There we've managed to drain out water. Everything is back to normal. We went to Moses Kotane, only one ward, the maternity ward, was flooded. But as we speak now, everything is back to normal. We have managed to ensure that the situation is now being arrested.
But these are areas that are not necessarily close to each other. I mean, that certainly must be noted. That while the Northwest is it's a fairly large sort of province, if you think about just how big it is, and then Zeras, Moses Kotane, Lichtenburg, there's not hospitals that are close to each other. So surely, there's a common denominator there in different municipalities having the same problem. But I'm also just keen to hear what happens to the patients. How many patients are needing to be transferred? If there are any deaths as a result of this flooding, what's the data that you've got on how this is impacting patients?
Yeah, maybe just to clarify it, we must take it into cognizance that it's not only the mini hospitals that are flooded, even the local stores, your schools and other areas that are there. So it's not like it's it's a problem that is exclusive to the Department of Health. It's a problem that is very vast. It's just that the impact that has been having, particularly from our side, is quite huge. In Vryburg, we had to close down the hospital completely, although it's a temporary measure until Friday, Saturday, when we are sure that everything is back to normal and people are safe. It's a 77-bed capacity hospital. At the time of the flood, in the wee hours of this morning, we had about 33 patients who have been transferred to at least 3 hospitals, Mahikeng, Gelexpan, and Zeras, which was then flooded earlier, Zeras, by the way. But as we speak now, they were evacuated safely. We have managed to dispatch a team of doctors who are offering outpatient medication on site, even in the local clinic. So it's not like the services have stopped altogether. We are offering health services, particularly primary health care services, although outside the building. But inside the yard, we have makeshift tents where we are offering some of these services to our communities. But we have in fact increased the number of planned patient transport. These are transport that are made to transport patients who are coming to the hospital to seek health services to other hospitals. And we're taking them to either a clinic or the townhouse clinic or to the hospital that we have identified as a temporary measure in this instance. Yeah. So services are there. We are assisting our people in this order.
And again, I talk about the common denominator, and this is, of course, will be my last question to you. Looking at, now you're saying it's not just the health facilities that are impacted, but certainly, schools and other areas surrounding, in 3 different areas in the Northwest. Would you, at this point, say municipalities, provincial government, failing the Department of Health and the services that you're able to give to patients in the province?
We are one government. We don't want to point fingers. What we want to do is to give solutions. We have spoken to the municipality where they need our expertise, our team of experts. We are able to assist. Where they think we can reinforce, we can also work together. We don't want to say it's a municipality problem or our problem. It's a problem of government. We need to find a way to solve it, to give our people services. So that is the approach. That is how we do it, because we don't want to exacerbate the matter unnecessarily. Yes, it's not a matter of pointing fingers. It's a matter of finding solutions. Our people really are bedeviled by this problem. They want solution, and they don't want whose fault is this. They want how can we. The question to them, or the answer to them, is how can we resolve this matter? Okay. And it should be done so expeditiously. All
right, Tshegofatso, we really do appreciate your time. Tshegofatso Mothibedi is the spokesperson for the Northwest Department of Health, updating us on 3 hospitals in the province that have seen flooding, and of course also bringing us the latest in that harrowing story there of a 16-year-old girl who's given birth at a hospital in the Northwest to her second child, that being on New Year's Day.